In this edition of The Way It Is, the fourth of our special reports on how we love the land, the new, wasteful, often destructive, but nevertheless exciting shape of the cities. Our reporter, Ken LaFoley. Let's go.
That's one way to build cities, and most of tonight's report deals with what we do to the land and ourselves when we build cities that way. But there's another way. Back downtown in the old urban centers, we're building the cities of Canada for the second time. First, we knocked down the original cities, square blocks and sometimes square miles at a time. Then we build them up again, nearly always out of vastly larger building blocks than anything we used the first time around. Do we do all this well, or do we do it badly? That's the starting point for this inquiry. And for the answer, we went to the lady over there, the one who's trying to edge her way into the traffic on Toronto's University Avenue. She's an American who moved to Canada last summer, Jane Jacobs, author of the definitive book called The Death and Life of Great American Cities, and quite possibly the best qualified critic in the world to do for you what she does now, review the kind of job we're doing as we build Toronto and Montreal for the second time.
I hate University Avenue. Toronto's a very refreshing city to come to from the States. It's all full of romanticism and quirks and surprises and ingenuity, particularly in the way outdoor space is used. In Markham Street Village, the way those front yards of former residences, which are now shops, have been made into really wide sidewalks. Marvelous for window shopping, for sitting around in. This is another aspect of this Toronto genius for using bits of outdoors. This is not usual in most cities today. This isn't a dead city. There doesn't seem to be much creativity at the top.
Laura Lind in Eye Weekly said Reg Hartt Cineforum is everything that Jane Jacobs wrote about. And it is. She arrived in Toronto in 1968. She saw a street flyer for a showing of Lon Chaney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1923. And it was a rainy Saturday night, September 1968. Rained all day. I couldn't see anybody coming out. I didn't want to go, but I went. Finally, and outside waiting in the rain was a mother, a father, their two sons, and their daughter, the only people who showed up. And I brought them in, and the first thing Mrs. Jacobs said was, "This is just like Cinema 16 in New York." And then they came every week after that.
Let's see if we can get hit by the car. Hi, I'm Jim Jacobs. I've lived in Toronto for many years. I moved here with my parents, Bob and Jane Jacobs. The Public Enemy Theater was on Yonge Street here, a building where this new building is now. My mother was particularly interested in this new venture in this old, beaten up old building with low rent. It's just the kind of thing that she wrote about should be happening, and the value of these old buildings for new ventures.
But what especially makes this place everything she wrote about is the constant efforts of the city to destroy it.
Toronto's a very refreshing city to come to from the States. It's all full of romanticism and quirks and surprises and ingenuity, particularly in the way outdoor space is used. In Markham Street Village, the way those front yards of former residences, which are now shops, have been made into really wide sidewalks. Marvelous for window shopping, for sitting around in. This is another aspect of this Toronto genius for using bits of outdoors. This is not usual in most cities today. This isn't a dead city. There doesn't seem to be much creativity at the top.
Reg is a very sensitive guy. He comes across as tough and brave, but he's so thoughtful, so sensitive, and really can be amazingly supportive and wonderful in ways that you just might not expect. Reg is, above all, unpredictable. And when Jane died, Reg was devastated, as were we all. And he left a card. You know, we got many of these condolence cards with the usual trite messages of, you know, your loss, this, that, and the other. It's the usual sort of thing. And here was a card from Reg that beautiful picture, and the message inside was just blank. Reg Hartt. There's a great big blank hole left when anyone dies. And I never saw it expressed so clearly as a condolence card without any writing. And it meant a lot to us.
This isn't a dead city. There doesn't seem to be much creativity at the top. It seems to me that Toronto has kind of a split personality, a civic schizophrenia. On the one level, there's the spirit of, individuals and small groups who do things, what you might call the vernacular spirit. This is all very informal, ingenious, quite romantic, and full of fun, a great deal of fun. It seems to me that the official spirit of Toronto is stamp out fun, pompous, impressed with mediocrity if it's very, very big and expensive.
Reg Hartt is just a man living out in Toronto land. He opens his house and his heart to the people who enjoy his art. A man is just a man. Reg Hartt does what he can. The city of Toronto has forced him to close off his heart, shut off his doors and stop doing his part to inspire art and culture in the hearts and minds of those like Pierre Burton and Jane Jacobs, who deem this man to be a treasure trove of poetry, love, and inspiration, a necessary part of any old heart, of any art, of any city. What a pity he did it in Toronto City. Tiny little bureaucratic minds, those tiny little bureaucratic minds, working their daily grind, their daily grind to stop the art, to stamp it out and cut out Reg Hartt. You people hearing me, don't let this crime be. Don't be like them. And remember that just one person standing alone, speaking the plain truth, is more powerful than armies of men. Screaming out in Toronto City, where the silence is deafening, and defaming this man of heart and bravery. A man is just a man. Reg Hartt does what he can.
This isn't a dead city. There doesn't seem to be much creativity at the top. It seems to me that Toronto has kind of a split personality, a civic schizophrenia. On the one level, there's the spirit of, individuals and small groups who do things, what you might call the vernacular spirit. This is all very informal, ingenious, quite romantic, and full of fun, a great deal of fun. It seems to me that the official spirit of Toronto is stamp out fun.